Welcome to the panel presented by SportCheck here at Rogers Place. It's Tony Brar here alongside Jack Michaels and Bob Stauffer. Gentlemen, after the three-game road trip last week, Oilers head coach Ken Hitchcock said there's little to no wiggle room in this five-game homestand. Now, they picked up a 4-1 victory against Columbus on Thursday, but dropped a crucial point, Jack, on Saturday against the Sens.
Well, the Oilers are 7 back with 7 to play, and they've got a game in hand, and at this point, you'd think that if there's any wiggle room, it might be another point, and that's about it. Basically, the Oilers have to run the table. And this week, at home, for the second time in a month, they've got 3 games against teams on the second of a back-to-back. And 2 of those 3 teams are below them in the standings. So there really isn't any wiggle room, to my way of thinking, not this week. And so if Edmonton can come to play and win those 3 games, starting with Tuesday night against Los Angeles, and that's the key. You can't look past anyone at this point. You give yourself a puncher's chance on the road. You want what Edmonton's goal right now should be that game in Colorado for it to be meaningful when the puck drops. In order to do that, you've got to win the 3 at home this week.
You know, I look at it like this. I mean, the team's got 4 games left at home. They got to win those 4 home games. You know, you can't. What's happened in the past has happened in the past. They got to move on. I think that obviously most people think they probably squandered 3 points against New Jersey and Ottawa. But the fact of the matter is, I don't know if anybody thought they'd get all 4 points against Columbus either. That's in this league, most nights any team can beat any team. That's kind of how it works. So. You start, as Jack mentioned, literally 1 shift at a time against Los Angeles, which has been a tough out for the Oilers this year. They've played Edmonton hard, though I would suggest harder in LA than they did in Edmonton. And the thing that's interesting with LA is I think that whereas with Ottawa, I got a sense of a spark with some of the young players and the opportunity that was there. I wonder, given the success that LA had winning the Stanley Cups in 2012 and 2014, whether or not a little bit of the finality of the situation has set in a bit there, because I don't think they've really been lighting it up as a club. But the one thing we've seen with the Oilers is they can ill afford to take anybody lightly.
Bob, you talked about the spark in Ottawa with the young players. Oilers head coach Ken Hitchcock said that foot speed was an issue. Once the game opened up, that they weren't able to perhaps defend that foot speed. So I'm going to maybe put you in the coach's chair here and say, how do you maybe compensate for that?
Well, I don't know how much you can do over the next 7 games. You've got the personnel that you've got. Obviously the Oilers have got some tremendous high-end players. I would assert to you they might have a couple guys down in the minors long-term that are probably going to be better suited to be fits moving forward. But I think you'll see, regardless of who ultimately ends up managing this team moving forward, when you have a year like this, players aren't stupid. They know there's going to be some changes. Those are inevitable. And I do think there will be an emphasis on speed and skill moving forward. That said, they've got the defense that's been healthy. They've got a winning record with that defense. So sometimes you got to let the puck do the work, Tony. You know that. And but I don't think it's something that a guy that's not a big time wheeler out on the ice, a guy that can really fly. That's sort of a God-given ability. There's not much you can do during the course of the season to improve upon that.
And the Oilers will continue their homestand against those aforementioned LA Kings. Jack and Bob will have the call on 6:30. Ched, we'll have you covered right here on Oilers TV. This has been the panel presented by SportCheck.